Now in this video, I'm going to share with you how you can actually upgrade your HDB fast. You know, these days, there are so many advertisements, how you can own multiple properties, how you can take part in this secret asset progression method. I've done a video for that specifically, which I'll leave links at the end of the video for. Or how you can, be aware that HDB is not a safe asset to own, etc, etc, etc. But you have to decide for yourself whether these advertisements are true or not. Now, there are a few reasons why you would want to upgrade, get your HDB correctly done and then upgrade, because, families want to get nearer to a preferred school, families want a better environment, or families just want more space in their house. So there are a lot of reasons why you want to upgrade your HDB fast. In today's video, I'll be describing two categories for you, just in case it helps you in one way or another. Two categories of families. The first, if you're a young couple and you haven't bought your first HDB, what to take note of. I'll be drilling down details as to HDB ownership rules as well as loan sizes, what kind of tips you should take note of, because you haven't bought a house yet. Everything is free play, but if you know some tips, you're going to get it right the first time round. It's a lot easier in your journey. The second category of families that I'll be addressing is if you already bought a HDB, what you can do to upgrade fast or to even potentially buy a second property down the road, down the years. So if this topic interests you, continue watching on. Hi guys, welcome back. Now, just in case you're a young couple looking for your first HDB as a marital home, this video hits you right out of time. In fact, share with your friends, because I'm sure in your circle of friends, a lot are at this stage in life. And there are a few key tips that I'd like you to take note of, because it's definitely going to be handy, especially when you shop for that first house. Now, the first thing that you should consider strongly is you should know your budget. You should know your long-term plans in terms of where do you want to stay. And from a previous video that I've done, in that research, I found out that a lot of young couples are targeting actually 5-room flats. I'm surprised also, but when you buy a 5-room flat, naturally the loan is bigger, correct? There's also more cost in renovation. There's also extra space. You need to take more effort to maintain. So really consider if a 5-room flat should be your first marital home or not. But the main focus of this part whereby I have tips is actually in the HDB ownership rules. And the first and natural one that most couples actually default take is a joint ownership. In a joint ownership, both couples can actually use CPF to fund the HDB flat itself. If you have 30,000 in CPF OA and your spouse has 30,000, you both can chip in and you both can pay for that house in terms of the mortgage payments wise. And when one half passes away, the other surviving half naturally inherits the house, and it's very simple. But there's a different method in terms of ownership. I don't know if you know it or not. And that is actually with an owner and occupier method, whereby there's only one owner to flat. Whereby, for example, if the husband is just the owner, the wife is just the occupier. And what are the pros in terms of structuring it this way? Do you know about ABSD, Additional Buyer Stamp Duty? Additional Buyer Stamp Duty applies when a person is the owner of another house really. It's considered a second house, and the person needs to pay ABSD when the purchase takes place. So when you actually structure it with an owner and occupier, all it requires is for the occupier to fulfill the minimum occupancy period, MOP, and then the occupier can actually buy another property down the years with no ABSD needed to be paid, because there's no ownership of the house at all. So take note of this. There's two structures. If your long-term goal is to buy a second property, structure your first property, your first HDB house, as an owner and occupier method. It saves you a lot of hassle down the years, just in case ABSD rule still sticks many years down the road. Now, before you buy a house, you should take note of a few key parts. You should take note of your grants, such as enhanced housing grants, such as proximity grants, such as your income limits to what you can purchase and what kind of loans you can take up. And I have a previous video that I'd like to introduce. I'll leave links below, and that actually addresses whether you should look for BTO, an EC, or a condo. So look for that video. I'll leave links below if it addresses specifically that topic. And the next part that I'd like to touch on, if you're a young couple looking to buy your first marital home, is to take note of the loan size. Government has actually mentioned this. Let me pull this article up for you to see. The average house in terms of mortgage to the combined income is 5 times or slightly less than that. But I have a further suggestion for you, which is between you and your spouse, try to aim within 3 times of the annual income. Reduce that mortgage liability so that you can pay off your house fast. Make sense? So if combined income right now is only 60,000, look to take a total loan of 180,000 only. If combined income is 120,000, then look to take a loan that's 360,000. Make sense? So look to keep your total mortgage within 3 times of the combined annual income. It saves you a lot of mortgage payments. It helps you build up your capital very quickly for you to upgrade down the years. It makes it a lot easier to pay off in a simplistic method to understand. Now, so this boils back to the first point. If it's only targeted at 3 times of the combined annual income, are you able to afford a 5-room BTO? Are you able to afford a 5-room resale? If the answer is no, think carefully, think of your long-term goal and start off with possibly a smaller house. So hopefully that is an important message that helps you reconsider your options. Now, if you have already bought your HDB and you're looking to upgrade, this segment is for you. And before you get there, smash the like button so more people can see valuable content like this. And if you have friends also in this stage in life, share this video with them. If you already bought your HDB and you're looking to upgrade, in my opinion, there are a few key steps and I'll list them for you. The first step is you have to save on your mortgage expense right now. Look to refinance. If you're on a HDB loan, look to refinance your bank loan. If you're already on a bank loan, look to refinance regularly. Look to save on interest costs, because right now HDB loan rates are 2.6% and some of the bank loan packages are close to 1.3, 1.4%. So there's definitely savings if you monitor your mortgage very regularly moving forward. Interest rates are coming down. There are actually news articles that show that people or analysts actually expect interest rates to stay low for a long period of time. So look to refinance regularly. Just to put some numbers to things, if you have a loan of 400,000 and you are able to save 1% in terms of mortgage rates, do you know that you have extra $200 per month coming back to you that is purely from mortgage savings? So there is a lot of savings that can be coming from that direction. Now, the next part, of course, is you have to cut back on expenses on all other directions because you want to get to an upgrade fast, correct? So that includes cutting back on travel, that includes cutting back on leisure expenses, food and dining. I have a previous video which I've shared before on my own expenses. I look for that video before and I'll leave links below because that gives you some reference points as to maybe where you can actually cut back on expenses. It's very personal, but also if you are serious about upgrading fast, look to squeeze a couple hundred more per month basis, because all these hundreds, if you accumulate over years, is going to build an extra pot that can help you with your upgrade. Now, what kind of numbers should we target this pot to be? This pot, in my opinion, has to be at least $100,000, an extra pot of $100,000, simply because if you buy a new property, you have stamp duties unavoidable, you have agent costs possibly, you have renovation costs definitely, and without extra cash coming in, there's no chance. This 100,000 is really minimal, an extra 100,000 squeezed out. And just to add further, if you have been squeezing up per month basis extra cash flow, look to do dollar cost average investing. I actually run portfolios for clients and I'm very familiar in that direction. If you need help, look for my links below, because when you build up a pot, an extra 100,000 pot, it's going to help you a lot easier if you have certain rate of return. 3, 4, 5, 6%. Is going to be better than keeping it in the bank. So definitely build an investment pot with a long enough time frame to get that objective done. So the last step of things, if you have a HDB and you have saved up some money, is to be familiar with, if you sell the HDB, what kind of CPF is coming back, what kind of cash is coming back. Be very familiar with that. Speak to friends, agents, get some numbers, get it cleared. Look for calculators online. I'll try to look for a few as I'm filming this to leave below to try to help you understand better what's going to come back. Because if you're serious about this, you need to know your numbers. What is coming out of CPF, what's coming out of cash. And when you sell your house, you now have a new decision to upgrade to private property. And you can even entertain the idea of buying 2 private properties, whereby it's the main message of all these advertisements that you've been seeing. And the simple logic is this: if you sell HDB and buy 2 private properties, one in each name, you can avoid ABSD, additional buyer's stamp duty, which as of right now is 12%. So it's crazy. It's very difficult to keep the HDB and then buy a second private property, which is what I did, but that was done some years back at 7%. It's very painful already. So back to the point, when you are buying the private property and you've saved up money, you've done all the work over the years, my strong suggestion that you should take note of it is buy the home first. Don't buy your home plus the investment property concurrently. I think that is not being prudent, because in a lot of ways you are definitely going to stretch your mortgage a lot bigger than where you are right now. There is a lot of risk that I think is understated, which is something that a lot of all these advertisements play on. They have this fear of missing out. They suggest that prices are going to climb. If you don't buy 2 at right now, you're going to miss out things. It's not true. Prices trend over many years when it comes to property, And if you buy a home, get settled first, couple of years down the road, you don't know, markets may be up, markets may be down. In any case, it works to your benefit. Market goes up, your house has appreciated in value. You can do term loans from your house, get out extra cash. There are strategies in the direction. You can buy a second property when markets are down. That's where you benefit, correct? So again, separate the issue up, buy the home first, get your objective done, and then the investment property comes some years down the road. I think that's a lot more prudent. So hopefully this video helps you. And with that, actually a previous video I've done before on sell HDB and buy 2 private properties. I don't know if you've seen that presentation. That video highlights a lot of risk. So this video, I can't touch too much on risk. That video really addresses what kind of things you need to take note. Mortgage, risk in terms of not being able to find tenant. That video really is going to help you in that direction. With that, I'll sign off. Let me invite you to look for that video over there. And again, if you haven't pressed on subscribe, inviting you to join our family, become more financially savvy. With that, I'll sign off. I'll see you in that video. Take care and goodbye.